Welcome to If You Don't Agree, You're Wrong. I'm one of your hosts, VHS Jace. And next to me, of course, is the great Jason Roy Gaston. Hello, sir.
I am doing well, thank you.
Well, we have a ton of shows to get through this week. It's been a busy week.
We've waited. It's a ton. It's a metric ton of shows.
Yeah, it is. And one of them, I'm not happy you made me watch, but we'll talk about that as we go along further in the show.
I'm not happy I made you watch it either, to be honest.
No, here we go. So let's get cracking into it. First thing, let's set up the rules of the show, guys. And of course, if you do like this man's content and happy to tolerate me, don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video and all that. But let's set up the rules of the show. The idea is we're going to be putting up a show and then we're going to have literally 2 minutes to give our opinion on the show each. Then we're going to judge each episode, and here is our rating system, Jason. If you like it, it's what, Jace? It's roo-rific, right?
It's roo-rific.
If you don't like it, it's a crock.
It's a crock.
But if you're a bit like, I'm not sure, it's apathy bear.
We have the koala of apathy.
The koala of apathy. That's a better
Look
name.
at how sad he is. You poor thing.
Yeah,
you
well,
poor
we're
thing.
interrupting mealtime. What the hell, you know? So that's our rating system. That's how it works. Let's get stuck into it with our first show, Lower Decks.
Lower Decks. Love this show.
Whoa, this is a show and a half, isn't it, Jace?
Yes, it
is.
is.
A show and a half.
We got 2 episodes, too, we got to talk about.
Double header, mate.
Yes.
So I think I'm going to throw you under the bus this
Are we going to talk about both episode at once, or are we going to talk about each?
Yeah, I think we'll combine them, I think.
Each.
We'll just combine them. You've got 2 minutes, plenty of time, mate, plenty of time. You ready?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
Okay, so if you'd have told me 30 years ago we'd be getting a sequel to Tuvix, I would have called you crazy. But you know what? Lower Decks is cray-cray, and they did it, and it was yay-yay. I loved this sequel to Tuvix because not only was it hilarious, it also offered all these wonderful, wonderful Voyager Easter eggs, including a wonderfully realized CGI recreation of the Intrepid-class starship, plus the Tuvix of the crew, which I love the fact that they turned Tuvix into a verb, was spectacular. I loved every minute of it. I thought it was great. And then we moved on to an episode that was not only equally hilarious, but brought some characterization to 2 characters, one of which I thought would never get characterization. The first one, of course, Mariner. We see her growth as she is forcefully promoted against her will to Lieutenant Junior grade. It just made her realize that she self-sabotages, and it made her go to a place that we don't normally see this character go to. But my gosh, Jack Ransom. I never thought I would see the day whenever I would think, you know what? Jack Ransom is actually a darn good officer, and he's a darn good commander, and he's a darn good mentor. To see him take that role and say, I believe in you. I think that you are going to be great. I think you are great. That was heartwarming. I loved that. And I love that about this show, that it can make you laugh 1 minute and then touch your heart the next. And of course, I would be remiss and negligent if I did not say, Moopsie. 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 All right, it's Pokemon, the next generation. And you know what? I'm all here for it. Moopsie, you're so adorable. You can drink my bones anytime you want to. And I am done.
Oh, look at that. Right on the 2 minutes, mate. But you need to give me a rating. What was your rating for the first 2 episodes?
In case you could not guess, this is the Moopsie of amazement. No, okay, it's roo-rific. It's roo.
Yeah, I didn't have Moopsie graphic.
Oh, come on. You should have really thought ahead and read my mind. No, it's roo-rific. I loved it. Moopsie.
All right, it's my turn, Jace. It's going to be a hard one, but here we go. How do I add any more to what you just said, Jason? It is absolutely wonderful. I just love the idea that they took the concept of Tuvix and they enhanced and they went for it. And they called out some of the ethical decisions that Janeway made, which was absolutely wonderful and hilarious. You're right about the starship. Looked gorgeous. Almost, I looked at some of the shots and I didn't know whether that was animated or CGI. It was so well done. But no, Tuvix was hilarious. That giant big glob at the end of everyone being joined together was just fantastic. Yeah, it was nice to have a lot of Voyager touches in there. Certainly with the second episode, not just about Mariner, as a Boimler, I think has been very strong in the first couple of episodes, and I like where his character's going. Um, the room, the fact that he got that room and he couldn't figure out to shut the blinds, and he literally goes, he sleeps in one of the ducts, he sleeps in, it's just so well executed. I've got to say this, guys, I think Star Trek Lower Decks is my favorite Star Trek out of all modern iterations of Star Trek. I can't help it. It feels like it was made for me. And I know you've said that about yourself, Chase. You feel like it's a show made especially for me. But the writing's smart. It does, it borderlines goes wacky, but it never goes over the fence. And it brings it back with some really solid emotional beats, like you said about Ransom. Though I would say, I reckon there have been snippets of him being a good first officer and little moments. But here they really dealt with it in that fantastic second episode. Moopsy will now be an iconic character that now will live forever in the Star Trek universe. That I haven't seen anyone react so more positively to Moopsy since Grogu. It was amazing. Great 2 episodes. Well,
I love how I love how
if you haven't guessed, horrific.
I love how you say this show doesn't go too wacky, and there was a Tuvix meatball.
Yeah,
but it didn't go too wacky. It's just combined the entire crew into a gigantic meatball. That's all.
That's all. That's all. But in the wackiness, the sense of, say, Family Guy goes too far, it always seems to rein it in, like at a certain point.
I'll give you that. I'll give you
that. But
plus, I want to thank the great koala in the sky that this show never goes nasty or gross. It's never. 99% of the time, it's just wholesome, good Star Trek science fiction silliness, and I love it. I love this show for that.
Well, you would think we'd be done with Star Trek, but we are not, Jason, because they have dropped another little mini-series recently, which released on Star Trek Day, called Star Trek Very Short Treks.
Yes, to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Star Trek, the animated series. Now available on Paramount+.
Yeah, that was made in my birth year. That's for the...
Wow, you're old.
We have 2 episodes to talk about this as well, so I'm going to start with this one this time, so I better reset the clock, and I'm going to start talking about the first 2 episodes. One was How to Skin a Cat, I believe, and the second one was The Party. What's it called?
It's the Holiday Party.
The Holiday Party. All right, here we go. I'm a big Pete Holmes fan, and I was really shocked and surprised that he was playing a captain in this very short anime. I loved it. And look, it's a bit on the nose with the commentary about cancel culture and things like that, but sometimes it's fun to poke fun at that. And I thought they did it really smart. No matter what he said, no matter what human saying he was using, there was somebody offended about it. It was a big surprise to see Ethan Peck in that for actually doing the voice of Spock, which was really wonderful. I didn't expect it to be them bringing in a new character, basically doing a comedy skit with that first one. But that's essentially what they did, because he wasn't playing Kirk, right? He was just playing another captain. So, no, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a very solid start. But I saw the second episode this morning, and I got to say, rolling around in laughter to see the return of Hemmer coming back, which was wonderful, but Spock making a blooper reel. I don't know who come up with that idea, but it's absolutely genius, and it's in character because of the way he processes what would be a blooper reel. You know, the fact the first thing is seeing someone cut in half of the transporter, and then to the point of him showing him being dumped by his girlfriend multiple times, because it's self-deprecating and he's crying. Oh my God, the short treks. I don't know. I do know who's behind it, but I just think it's wonderful. I don't know how many episodes we're getting, Jason, but there need to be 1 million of these. Absolutely loved the first 2 episodes of Very Short Treks, and I'm done. That is absolutely no-brainer. A big horrific for me. All right, buddy.
Okay.
Battle Cat. Sorry. Murder Bean is very, very keen.
This
to
is
hear what you
Nimona. What's wrong with you?
I don't know. I'm
Battle,
going to get
Battle Cat
another
is
prescription for
gray.
my glasses.
Murder Bean is fat and fluffy with a tail,
yeah.
no tail. This one's got a tail. This one's
got a
this
tail.
one is baby.
Yeah.
Right, go ahead.
Look at that. Now,
Yeah,
Daddy's
baby.
got to give his review.
Yes, Daddy
what
has
he
to
thought.
talk about cartoons now, dear.
Yes, and are you ready to wax lyrically about very short treks?
I am ready, and I just got scratched.
Oh, wonderful. He's just giving you just a bit of a reminder.
Yeah,
he's
it's
boss.
like, I'm in charge. All right.
Here we go, buddy.
Start
Press
the
start.
timer. Here we go.
Go.
Okay, so I have watched the 2 episodes of Very Short Treks. My opinion of the first episode was it was nice. I do think it was on the nose, and I do think the humor was a little bit stale, to be honest. Thought Pete Holmes was great as Captain Kirk. You're right, he's not Captain Kirk. He's cartoony Captain Kirk. Ethan Peck is Spock. I'm very shocked that he slipped so easily into Leonard Nimoy, which tells me that he's been playing his own version of Spock this whole time, because he could have done an impression of Leonard Nimoy and just chose not to, which I really respect. I think the humor was kind of on the nose, and a couple of times it was a little bit cringy. It was kind of like an old Newgrounds short that you would have seen, 20 or 30 years ago. So my initial impression was it's nice. It's not great, but it's nice. The second one, however, blew the first one out of the water. I was rolling on the floor watching this today. I was watching it at work during my break, and a fellow teacher came in and said, "What are you watching?" I was like, "I'm watching Spock make a blooper reel. It's funny. It's funny because he had legs before he got in the transporter." The timing was great. The humor was great. I never really knew exactly where it was going to go, and it just seemed like every single time that Spock made a new joke, it just got worse and more awkward. And I just loved Celie Rose Gooding's small role in it, Doug Jones' small role in it. This was just all these cameos coming in. I just loved every second of this one, and it just got funnier and funnier as it went on. And yeah, as a whole, if I'd have judged them individually, the first one would have gotten a koala. The second one, definitely a Rurific. But together, I'm giving them both a Rurific because they were hilarious. And yeah, Saru was in the wrong uniform, though. That was inexcusable. I'm done.
And of course,
right.
yes, Rurific.
It's Rurific, yes.
Who would have known, Jason, that when you talk around, when I didn't think, I always knew Star Trek could be funny. But we're living in an era where we're seeing some unbelievably smart comedy coming through the vessel of the Star Trek franchise.
Yes, it's amazing.
And I love that.
I love it. Yo, come on. We've had a musical. We had a crossover with a cartoon. And now we have these short, jokey things. I love this era of Star Trek. And I really hope it's making the canon freaks mad. I hope it's making them miserable.
Do you think they would be out there?
Oh,
Probably.
You know they are. Like,
yeah, I do.
Doing a musical. The Buffy musical was better.
Unbelievable. Well, let's move on, because I'm pretty sure the fans of this franchise are not toxic at all, Jason, and that's the DC fans.
No, they're fine. They're fine. Yeah.
They've never got anything.
No, they're fine. Nothing bad ever happens in the DCEU.
Well, mate, Harlequin, and this episode, I believe, was episode 7 or 8. Are we up to?
I think this was 9, wasn't it?
I can't remember.
I don't know. We can't count.
We can't count. We've been watching so much content. Well, let's find out what episode we're talking about, mate.
The potato cloning incident. Yes.
Yes, the potato cloning incident. Thank God you said that, because I'm thinking, did I watch that episode? I was supposed to. But I did, guys. I did. Phew. Let's go. Ready? You're up, buddy.
I'm up. Let's do it.
Let's go.
So Harley Quinn, despite being 4 seasons in, continues to entertain and engage with an outright outrageous and outright wacky episode in which Harley Quinn meets herself and has a heart-to-heart talk with herself, thanks to, of all people, James Gordon accidentally using a microwave wrong. And the more I think about it, the stupider it is, but I accept it because of what Harley Quinn is. I enjoyed this movie so much, watching Harley go off with her own self to be a dastardly duo, watching Poison Ivy try to outsmart and eventually succeed to outsmart Lex Luthor. I love this iteration of Lex Luthor, by the way. He's so much fun. This is what I think they were aiming for with Jesse Eisenberg, but couldn't quite get there. Um, and just surprise after surprise after surprise. It was wonderful to see Harley and Dr. Psycho together again. Dr. Psycho is such a disgusting character, and I understand why they don't use him a whole lot anymore, but he's so much fun. Uh, I just feel like I'm going to be gushing just nonstop. The identity of Nightwing's killer was revealed. I was kind of expecting it, but I was still surprised by how funny it was. Um, I just love the fact that they are letting this series just heel stomp the entire legacy of the DCU gleefully and happily, and a lot less recklessly than Warner Brothers has done it over the last 5 years. I'm giving this one a thumbs up. It's terrific, and I'm done. If you're not watching Harley Quinn, you need to be.
Well, there you go. Thumbs up. Thumbs up. All right, it's my turn to have a talk about this one. As funny as it was, Jason, I was more found a very existential kind of Odyssey journey for coming to an end of an Odyssey journey for Harley Quinn, because she has to face her own demons, and that is literally like made by a potato version of her, where she gets that mirror to look at some of the choices that she makes. I wasn't surprised that was because I just thought, nah, she killed him the whole time. The fact that it's sleep killing, I think they explain it as, I think is absolutely wonderful. Poison Ivy, on the other hand, it's been a very fascinating journey with her, because in a way, they're dealing with what it's like to be a strong female woman in a male-dominated situation. And they handle it always extremely smart. You're right about Lex. You said, please not, is that Giacano? Is that?
It sounds like
It
sounds like
sounds like
it's Fino
him, doesn't
Giacono.
it?
Yes,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
does.
It sounds like him.
I'm
But yeah,
curious.
either way, look, it's a wonderful series. It's a very, very funny series, but you can actually draw a lot from it if you actually watch the episodes, because they are dealing with big subjects, but it's done so quickly and so expertly with its timing that sometimes you get a bit lost. But yeah, it's a wonderful episode, and I agree with Jason. If you're not watching it, what are you even watching us for?
Exactly.
So it's a big re-riffing. Big re-riffing.
Absolutely. And it is Giancarlo Esposito, the
Yeah,
great
yeah.
the
That
great
voice
voice actor.
is,
Oh, he's
yeah,
amazing.
isn't he? And
Yes,
that
he is.
version of Lex, you are so right. It's so
He's so
narcissistic. He's
yeah, just a
so
narcissistic jackass, and I love it.
yeah.
He's
But
the perfect
that's
foil for Ivy. Perfect. Because he is the
to me, that's what
stereotypical.
Lex should be.
Yeah, he's the stereotypical head of the bro club, and he's
Yeah.
happy to be there. And
I
I'm putting you in this position to make it look like I care about hiring women. This just
yeah.
it's great. I love it.
And there's an element of honesty there, because you know that's happening out in the real world, and that's what they're
Oh yeah.
trying to address. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, Jason, let's move on to a show that we didn't have a lot of love. Well, I didn't have a lot of love for last week, but there was a new episode up. We're talking about Futurama
Yes.
coming up now. The new episode that just dropped. Do you remember the name of that? I do have the name here
Zap
somewhere.
gets cancelled.
Zap gets cancelled. All right, and I do believe I am up for this one again. So here we go. I'm going to be talking about Zap gets cancelled. One of the criticisms I had about this show this season was the fact they were dealing with common, well, very today problems, whether they did with COVID, which was on the nose, or whether they did with everything else. Now they're dealing with cancel culture, which to me straight away rubbed me a little bit like, oh no, we're going to be doing this. But I love Zap Brannigan so much. I can't help myself. He's one of my favourite characters in Futurama. To see him again and be called out for his stuff, it kind of works with that character. The fact that, Chip, I'm not a fan. That's horrible that I can't remember his first officer's name
Croker.
right now.
Kip Croker.
Kip, one of the Ips anyway. So Kip, it was good to see him being able to express himself finally and get it out there. I did love they had to go through that 8 hours of training with the small guy who becomes large. I really did like that. But it's a show that is dying. I'm going to be really honest with you. I don't think it's got a long life ahead of it. again, the biggest flaw, even as much as I did like the episode, the biggest flaw is they are staying too topical. And I know Futurama has done that previously, but the season usually wasn't dependent on it. And I feel like this season now dependent on them touching on modern problems and putting it through the filter of Futurama. So, yeah, that's what I thought. So, unfortunately, it's the koala of apathy for me. There you go. That's what I thought, Jace.
Welcome, Koala. It's nice to see you.
Yes,
Okay.
welcome. It's your first touch. You ready, buddy?
I'm ready.
Go.
Okay, so I think that you put it best that the show is in a state of decline. I think that the brightest stars shine for a brief period of time and then they're gone. I That was Futurama before Comedy Central picked it up. It's been decent. It's been fine. But let's be honest, right now, this would be the period after Seymour Skinner was revealed to be an imposter. It's just not, the magic is gone, the spark is gone. This episode was actually marginally better than most of the stuff we've gotten this season. I still maintain that the Christmas episode was the best one. This one, slightly better, but as you said, it's the topicality that's killing it right now. And how many comedy episodes about cancel culture are we going to get? South Park did it. The Simpsons did it. Futurama's late to the party. And honestly, I think that's what they need to really look at is if we're going to do topical stuff, can we get it out in a timely manner? And they don't. They don't get their stuff out in a timely manner. It's not their fault. It takes a long time to animate an episode of Futurama. So I think if they want this series to continue, they need to let it go. They need to just do the high concept science fiction again. I thought it was okay. I like Zap Brannigan. I love the fact that he's basically the Phil Hartman tribute of the show. Every time I hear Billy West doing that voice, I think it's wonderful. I kind of wish that they would have let Leela stay as the captain of the Nimbus and just shake things up a little bit because it was kind of exciting to see them leave the office and do something new, even if it was just for a few episodes. I found the nihilism of Zoop kind of funny, but overall, I would have to give this a slightly excited koala of apathy just because I think the magic is gone.
Whoa, there you go. I agree with you.
No.
Yeah, it's sad to see though,
Sorry,
isn't it,
little
Jace?
guy.
Because it did show that I do want to be on record as saying I absolutely loved the show in the early days and certainly all the way through the 2000s. I think
He makes
it's
me
been the
sad.
last. Yeah, that makes you sad.
It makes me sad.
But it has, yeah, I'd say the last 10 years have not been good for Futurama, unfortunately. No, but there you go. We're going to move
I'm
on.
going to tell you the same thing I told my son. You make me sad. Please go away.
Well, all right, mate. Let's move on to hopefully a show that you're enjoying a little bit more than Futurama, and that is Adventure Time, Fionna and Cake, Jace. First two episodes for me were phenomenal. Let's talk about the next two episodes, Jace. Are you ready to roll on this one?
I'm ready. Let's talk about Fionna and Cake.
Oh, so good. There we go.
So, Fionna and Cake returning for episodes 3 and 4. Cake the Cat and Prismo. I didn't think we were going to see Prismo back, but we'll get to that here in a second. The Cake episode I thought was wonderful because they have nailed the personality of a cat with Cake. Because when Cake was separated from Fionna, she didn't care. I just love that. And I love how Cake went through this journey without Fionna and didn't really realize how much she wanted Fionna back with her until she needed Fionna. It's so cat-like because cats are jerks. The second episode with Prismo, it gave a lot of lore. It was a big lore dump, but it was not boring. It was interesting lore. And I thought it added a lot to the show. I just love how this is building off of the lore we got in Adventure Time, and it's doing it through a more mature show that is not mature to be gross or violent or nihilistic or dark. It's just a show that's grown up a little bit. It's a show that can say hell or damn and show a little bit of blood, but at the same time, at its heart, you know that it is Adventure Time, and it's the same old land of ooh, and it's that same magical, goofy place. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy this series is here, And I know it's a mini series and that it's not going to last forever. But, like I said with Futurama, the brightest stars burn for a very short time. So maybe this show will burn for a few episodes and then be gone. And we think nothing but good, happy thoughts about it. I'm eager to see where this journey goes. I'm eager to see where Simon is going to end up going because his character is my favorite right now. And I didn't really think that would ever happen. How would Simon Petrikov be interesting? I love Fiona and Cake. I want to see more Fiona and Cake. Can't wait to see where it goes. Boom. Rurific.
Yeah, it's definitely rurific in that for those one. All right, here we go. I'll do mine. Yeah, look, absolutely. That one with Kate, the first episode 3, absolutely wonderful. Who stole the show for me was Mark Maron playing a squirrel friend who's a little bit of a guy who just brings his Mark Maron-esque to the character so well.
Yeah.
He's such a balanced squirrel, such a kind of positive in his own way. He's always looking on the up and up. Yeah, it was great to see the cat on his own Cake on his own journey, and you're right. I especially love the marketplace scene where he's having to eat different fruits and things like that, which is great. But episode 4 with Simon Petrikov, the existential crisis this man is going through, and him trying to come to grips of who he's mourning the loss of a previous life, yet is unwilling to accept a new life at this stage, and the way they're dealing with that with the multiverse and all that is absolutely wonderful. You talk about the violence. This show is actually pretty violent, but it's so dressed up in its cuteness that if that was a real people, it would be a pretty R-rated, I think, show, which is wonderful. And I think what I love about the character too, especially Fiona, when she's trying to find Cake, the fact that she randomly goes to a fountain where her 2 friends are loitering, drinking in public. And it's just so real that that's what people do, don't they? When they can't deal with a problem, they'll just start slugging down alcohol. So there's a realism there. There's an artistic expression here. It's done with a lot of love and a lot of joy. You said that, stars shine bright and for a short time and all that. I just think this is the beginning, because this is a show, if they pull off this entire season so well, I think people are going to be clamoring to see more adventures. But kudos to the filmmakers, because exceptional. All right. Big thumbs up there.
Absolutely.
It's too easy, isn't it?
Yes. I love how matter of fact the Mark Maron
show,
squirrel was.
Yeah. I never expected the show to be so grippingly entertaining. I thought it'd be a background noise show, if a show that's just on the background. But I'm locked into seeing what's happening here. And you're right about Simon. Oh, how good is Simon?
He's great.
It was fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. All right, let's move it on, Jace. We're talking about another show. And look, let's be honest, we loved this last week, what we had seen. But we'd only seen the first 3 eps. So now we're going to talk about the last 5 eps, and that is One Piece.
Absolutely.
So One Piece. Wow.
This
all right.
whacked out pirate show. I just love it.
Okay. I'm going to get cracking into this. All right. I don't think I'm going to fill up 2 minutes on this, to be honest with you, but let's get cracking on it. I have no idea why I fell in love with this show originally. I don't know what it is about it, because everything in this show screams to me something that maybe I would think I'm too old for. But I absolutely adored the show. I became emotionally attached with these characters so much, and there are so many wonderful reveals as we go along these 5 episodes. But Luffy's probably my favorite character of the year. Out of anything I've seen this year, he stands tall as a character that I wish I could be. He's one of those people, and it's all about friendship and adventure and things like that, and let alone the anime side of it. I mean, I'm just that guy now. I'm walking into the kitchen, grabbing a drink, going gum drink. I'm just saying gum and everything these days. I absolutely love it, and no, it's not just that; it's the side characters. There was an episode, I think it was episode 9, with the girl. I can't remember her name because I'm old and can't remember it. But it was about her childhood and what she went through, and the deal that she had to make with the fishermen, which I thought was wonderful. That whole village, everything about it. it's a show that I was upset at the end of it because there is no more for at least 18 months, they're saying. So,
At least.
but the script's apparently written. I'm really excited about it. If you haven't seen One Piece, I don't care if you like anime or not. This is beyond that, guys. Go watch it if you just want to see a really well-made, entertaining TV show. That's where I'm leaving it at. No doubt.
Absolutely. Gum
Yeah.
gum thumb.
Gum gum thumb. That's right. That's it. I'm just waiting to go to pay a bill at the post office. Gum gum electricity bill.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So One Piece, I got into this because it was basically the thing everybody was talking about. I wanted to see how it was. And I thought, you know what? Since we're doing the show, let's talk about One Piece because that'll give us some variety and it's not going to be all animated series. I fell in love with this show. I love what you said about Luffy is not only the best character, he's the character you want to be because he's got an optimism and a friendship and this twinkle in his eye. Iñaki Godoy is doing such an amazing job playing this character. He's perfectly cast. I watched a few episodes of the animated One Piece. It's perfect. He is the perfect Luffy. I don't think they could have found a better Luffy. I also got to throw it out to and I'm going to say this name wrong. McKinney, I think is his name, who plays Zoro. Fantastic. He starts out as this hard man who just never smiles. And the progression that he goes through in this series to going to this hard shell of a human being to somebody who smiles and laughs with everybody. I love that. It's great seeing this evolution of a character. Nami's final story about the fishmen was amazing, and I wish we could see more of Sanji because he's kind of like, and I'm also here at this point. I hope he gets more development in the future. I even like Kobe, the little nerd with the glasses. What he's going through as he's with the Marines. I just love this series. I love the goofiness of it. I love the look of it. It's so unlike any other show I've ever seen, and it's pulling off live action anime in a way that I haven't seen since Speed Racer. Again, one of the best anime movies ever made. And I'll fight you if you disagree. That's our spin-off we're gonna do. I'll fight you if you disagree. It's just me punching people. They can't punch back though. That's the rules. All right. So One Piece, great season. It's Rurific.
It's gum gum rurific.
Gum gum thumb.
Yes, definitely. What a show though, man.
Oh, it's
like it is great, isn't it? And it's very rare. Why that show works so well, I think, Jace, is just because the characters are so well developed. Like they've taken time with each character, and even though you said you think the kid was also ran, he's just kind of there at the moment. No, I think they're dealing with him quite well as well. I especially love the chef. What's his name?
Oh, the chef. Yes, I can't remember his name. Love
that character.
That whole
Very
episode,
cool guy.
that set piece outside with the docks and the restaurant outside. I want to that could not have been a physical set. But if it was, that's amazing. If it wasn't, the CGI was amazing. Just whatever it was, it looked outstanding.
The fight scenes are as good as anything you'd seen in any film.
Absolutely. They're so much fun. I love it.
Really,
and I
really
love
good.
the way that they have woven the theme of the musical theme of the anime into the live action because it just pops out at just the right times.
You know, I love, as you know, I'm a bit of a graphics guy, you know, and someone who makes logos. The fact they have a new One Piece logo every episode,
yes,
I'm like,
it's outstanding.
Yes.
that one with the restaurant episode where it was all made out of like utensils and forks and everything. I was just like, that is perfect. I love it.
Mad Photoshop skills.
Yes, this show has got such a great sense of humor. It just every episode is like a wink and a nudge going, you like that, don't you?
Now you would know this because your eyes around the zeitgeist. How popular has it become globally, though? This is
it's
the
Netflix's
show of the
number
moment.
one show right now. I mean, this series had an unbelievable budget. I think it was like $140 million, which, you know, for 8 hours of entertainment, that's not bad. But for
Mate,
8
it's all
hours
on the
of
screen.
TV, yeah, it's there. You can see where the budget went because I was watching Indiana Jones, and I was like, "This cost $250 million, really? This? Did the de-aging really cost that much?" This one, it's just like, "Oh yeah, that's where they spent the money right there. Whoa, they had budget left over for that. Wow." Yeah, the show looks great, and just like I said, it's so unlike anything else we're seeing in live action right now. It's just this
It is.
complete goofy fantasy of these bigger than life characters. A guy shows up wearing cat ears and has whiskers. You don't even think anything of it. You're just like, okay, well, this is happening. I
Look,
love
I
it.
know it's existing IP. I know it is. It's 1,000 episodes or whatever they got going. But for me, this is fresh. And this is the type of thing I want from entertainment moving forward. I love being big franchises. We're going to be talking about one coming up soon. But gee, I love being surprised. And this is what that show's done.
And it's
All
so darn wholesome. That's what I love about it. It's wholesome. If I have anything that I have to complain about, and this is going to make me sound like, I know what this is going to make me sound like.
Okay.
I wish that they would have watched their language, because this seems like it should be a family show that the whole family can watch.
Yeah, I would say that. Did
But
they drop any
I don't think they dropped any F-bombs. They said the S word a couple of times, and there was a bear butt in the first episode for absolutely no reason.
Look, to be honest with you, I'd show my 8-year-old son that.
I probably would too, but
Yeah,
I know some people are against it. It just seems like such a family-friendly show that Netflix decided, we don't need families to watch this.
You know why it's also family-friendly, Jace? Because everybody can get something out of the story.
Absolutely.
That's why it's family-friendly, because it's just good content. Now let's move on to more good new content. I'm not sure. We're going to come up to now. We're talking about The Walking Dead.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to talk about this.
Daryl Dixon.
I am so excited.
Now, who did it last time then? Who just spoke last? You did. So you get to talk about Daryl Dixon first.
Okay, all right. I'm so excited to talk about Daryl Dixon.
I know you are, mate. I know
let's
you
talk
are.
about
it
it,
was
'cause
certainly one that you said we must
forward to
watch
this.
this episode.
Yes, I've been looking forward to this episode so much. So go ahead and start the countdown. Here we go. All right,
here we go.
I'm ready. Ready? Okay. What the hell? What the hell was this? My gosh. If I wanted to watch a show that would put me to sleep, I would watch The Walking Dead. Why is this a thing? Okay, we love Norman Reedus. That's great. Can we please let Norman Reedus go so he can go do other things that doesn't suck? Okay, so I have to admit, I haven't watched the last couple of episodes of The Walking Dead because I only like good things. I thought I will give this a shot. Maybe this will be a fresh shot in the arm. But no, it's just basically zombies burn people now. That's it. That is it. That's the only new twist they've got on it. And Daryl's in Europe now, which, okay, he's going off to go find Rick. Great. You got lost, dude. You're in the wrong continent. I kind of thought it was cool whenever he went to go see the nuns. I'm like, okay, this is something different. But then they dropped the whole, this kid's the Messiah. And I'm like, what? He's the what? He's the Messiah? Really? That's what we're doing? This is Jesus? Little straggly haired little boy is going to be Jesus? Is that really what we're doing in the zombie apocalypse? We couldn't go with, this kid was bit and he's immune. We need to take him to a hospital. At least then give Daryl some kind of, reason to take him. This show was buns. Every minute of it was boring and dour, with Norman Reedus reduced to going as a reaction to everything. The Walking Dead is Walking Dead. It is not interesting anymore. It is boring. It is borderline insulting. I was bored. I spent $1.99 to rent this on Amazon because I didn't want to pay for AMC's service. And I can tell you right now, that's the only $1.99 this show's getting, because it is a crock.
Oh, it's a crock. That's what he says. It's a crock. All right. Well, it's my turn to give you some thoughts on what I thought of it. Now, you said it was borderline offensive. I say it is outright offensive for this show because it is basically Daryl Dixon's European vacation mixed with literally stealing the plain plot from The Last of Us and redressing it. This is abhorrent. It is lazy writing. And it is absolute. Clearly, he lives in France, right? Norman Reedus. So it's like, I'll do it, but we're doing it in my hometown. We're going to go and do it where near I live. And I think it is boring. And what? They now are xenomorphs as well? They can spit acid onto you or bleed acid onto you? What the hell is that? That's just Again, lazy storytelling, Jason, because that makes no sense, been no setup for it as far as I'm aware with, and then to throw it out there by the nun going, oh yeah, we call them burners, but they're not the only ones. As if that's to go, oh my, what other zombies are we going to come across? Like, this is absolutely a ridiculous concept. However, I did think to myself, if I was going to set a zombie film in Europe, right, a zombie show in Europe, God, I don't know, reboot the franchise. Do it in World War II. That would be cool. Then we could have World War II Nazis and Nazi zombies. And we want to see Nazi zombies. You know, that's what I would have done. Anyway, the show's awful. It is absolutely, he needs... This is clearly just a check for everybody involved. There's no artistic effort being put into this. You're right. I'm not watching any more of these episodes. So if we continue to do it on this show, I ain't got nothing to say because that was 45 to 50 minutes of my life I ain't getting back. So screw you, Walking Dead. Screw your franchise. And AMC, start getting more creative. You've been leaning on this franchise now for almost 20 years. Get over it, will you? It's a crock.
I was so bored with this whenever I said, at least make the kid like the carrier of the cure to zombieism.
That's The Last of Us.
It didn't even occur to me that was The Last of Us.
And that's what I'm
how
watching.
Bored this made me.
Yeah, I'm going, oh no, we're doing The Last of Us.
Yeah.
We just change it here.
Yeah,
we're putting some religious ideology
I don't know. Make him Jesus. Who knows? Who cares? Can I have my check now?
It's the fact that the writers think this religious ideology into the storyline is somehow going to give it gravitas because that's what they're trying to sell to the audience.
I know.
That's what's offensive to me because they're playing us like we're morons. And no offense, guys, maybe the Walking Dead community fans at this point, maybe that suits them. I don't know. Never again.
Every time, I audibly groaned at the line whenever the sister said when they said, "You don't believe in God, but God believes in you." I'm like, ugh. I'm misting at this point because that was such a cliched line. I've heard that a million times.
He was awful. The one-note villain they've got set up to now.
I know. Well, okay. They're pitting Daryl Dixon against his own archetype because he lost a brother. Now he's going to be mad and angry, and it's just wow.
And how about the end of it, Jace, where they sell you on what's coming up? Yeah, right at the end of that episode, did you get the bit where it's like coming up this season on Daryl Dixon?
I didn't see that.
No, they do. They give you a promo at the end where they show you what's going to happen through the season.
Yeah, I guess I missed that part.
And I'm watching and going, I couldn't give a poop about any of what you're selling me right now at all. Absolutely horrible.
You know what we need? We need a zombie apocalypse show that is a comedy.
Yeah.
We need, and that's what we need at this point. I think we have enough material. And if they want like a variety of zombies, great. You know what? How about zombies that look like zombies until you like smash their head in and then bees start coming out?
I always wanted to pitch a film. That would be amazing. I would like to pitch a film. I've always wanted to make this like Cannonball Run in a zombie apocalypse.
Oh, that would be
bit amazing. Of Mad Max in there as well. Yeah. Have it as a comedy. You know, there are and that's just out of the top of our head. Jason, there's a lot of things you can still do creatively in the genre, but they're just not doing it. No. That's the problem.
How about a movie set 200 years after the zombie apocalypse? The society's now made out of zombies who have put together this rudimentary civilization on their own. And then all of a sudden, a spaceship lands and humans comes out. And the humans start shooting the zombies. And the zombies are like, and they all start running away.
Okay, and it's a show about a band of zombies trying to survive the human apocalypse.
Yeah, we could call them The Walking Live.
Yeah, there you go. It's still a way better idea than Daryl Dixon.
Exactly. And okay, first of all, I have nothing but love for Norman Reedus. I have nothing but love for the man.
Thanks, anyone.
He needs to let it go. He needs to move on. Carol McBride was going to be in the show with him, and she was like, "No, I'm done." And I don't blame her. I don't blame any of these characters for leaving the show.
It's a paycheck thing, I suppose, for them. But
and
most of these guys will not have to worry about money for the rest of their lives because of they won these shows for years and years and years. So it's really artistic choices. Is the fact that the audience is not disconnect. We've given the show way too much airtime. Let's move on.
Norman Reedus doesn't need this paycheck, though. He doesn't need it.
No, he doesn't. Ahsoka, Jace.
Ah!
Very different. Now, you have some explaining to do, my friend.
Okay, so literally, like 10 minutes before we start filming, we're just chatting. And I don't even remember. I saw a picture on my phone or something. I was like, oh, the new episode of Ahsoka's dropped. I'm going to watch that after the episode. And Jay said, there's a new one? It's like, yeah, it just dropped. There's a new one after they put one out last night? I said, what do you mean they put one out last night? What day is this? Y'all, I was not paying attention to what day it was. And I chose to watch Daryl Dixon instead of Ahsoka last night. Rage!
Choices were made.
Choices were made, and those choices are being regretted right now.
However, Jason, being a selfish bugger as I am, I still want to talk about Ahsoka. So I'm going to do my review this week on it. You are going to throw your headphones down and walk away. All right, guys, let's have a crack at this. Jason will talk about it next week, guys, so don't feel Ahsoka. What can you say? Any fans of Clone Wars Rebels would have been absolutely delighted with this episode. Hayden Christensen brings on, I think, the best iteration that he's ever played of that character in a nuanced performance, which is wonderful. Seeing the transformation of Ahsoka from someone who was really, not really firing, had lost her place, come back being Gandalf the White, basically. She's literally dressed in white. The fact that the space whales are taking them where they need to go is wonderful. This show is amazing. It's incredible. Dave Filoni's done an exceptional job, and it's his fingerprints all over it. He did direct this episode as well, which was just handled with just such class. He's going to be a fine filmmaker, and Star Wars is very, very lucky. In many ways, I feel like this show's almost paralleling his journey, because him and George Lucas have been master and apprentice. And I feel like, in a way, Dave Filoni's infusing it with this show. What more can I say about it? It's so good to see great Star Wars giving us new stories that are not dependent on the Skywalker saga, even though it's tied to it. This is leading towards new territory. Exciting, expertly made. Rosario Dawson in this episode too, exceptional. But it's Hayden Christensen all the way. He steals this episode with the Clone Wars iterations, the Revenge of the Sith iterations, everything else. Absolutely wonderful. Jace is going to be back here in about 20 seconds, so I'm going to press stop now and just say, guys, this is horrific. Absolutely horrific. Fantastic. Jace, you can come back now. Spoilers are over. Come back in. We're good. I liked it. Jason will be giving his review. He'll be getting actually longer next week, because we're going to give him 2 minutes to talk about this episode I've just spoken about, and then what next week's episode. So stop sulking. Let's get on with it, because we're going to talk about something new that we've got on the show, Jason. You excited about this? We've got a new segment. 2 episodes in.
Yes,
well, actually,
I'm excited about this as I am, Norman Reedus' new show.
Yeah. All right, it's our new segment.
I'm not going to pout anymore. I'm fine.
You're good? All right.
Good,
So this new segment's called, I think you named it, Jace. I think you called it Sudden Death.
Metal.
We're not quite subtle here, if you haven't noticed already. We're doing something, we go all the way.
It's so overproduced, but I love it.
So, Jace, you just got off speaking about an experience with the show called Daryl Dixon. But now you're going to give us experience about a film you've recently seen.
Yes, because we not only talk television, but we also talk movies here occasionally. And I know that there's a writer's strike going on right now, and that, we're kind of shying away from talking about movies, but I don't think this is going to be what you call a recommendation.
Ooh, so what film are we talking about, Jace?
Okay, so I saw a trailer a couple of months ago called Strays, and I watched the trailer and I thought, oh, this is funny. This is cute. Will Ferrell, Jamie Foxx, they're playing dogs. It's a little naughty. It's a little risque. This is going to be amazing. So I bought a ticket the same day I went and watched Oppenheimer, by the way. I just
Yeah.
turned around and
Okay.
went back into to watch this movie. And it was one of the most excruciating experiences I have sat through. I had 2 teeth fixed in the dentist the other day. That was preferable. This movie was absolute lazy
Yeah.
garbage.
It was
Just
bad.
the most juvenile, gross out gags that were not funny. If you've seen the trailer, you've seen everything worth laughing at.
Mm.
So imagine just a movie with a bunch of dogs swearing at each other and humping things, and and of course humans sliding around in dog poop. That is this movie. It is
Yeah, look, he
quite
was.
literally the laziest movie I've ever seen.
I just don't know how this script got greenlit because
It was
it
lazy and
was
it was
just
cheap.
all low hanging fruit. All
Yeah,
the comedy's low hanging fruit, and it's quite mean and nasty.
it
And
is.
I think what you needed to do with a movie like this is to keep a bit more optimistic and hopeful. It's the fact that this is a very dark take on it. And honestly, Jamie Foxx can be really funny, but his character's not given a lot. In fact,
No, I don't really think Jamie
you had
Foxx cared
talented
about it, to be
people in this
honest.
movie, didn't you?
Yeah.
Like,
Um,
yeah, I mean, even you got Randall Park playing Doug in that movie, and I love Randall Park, but even he was like very flat, and the story was, I don't know, I actually felt quite angry at the end of that film, which is
yeah,
odd thing to say,
the
but I
thing
really did.
is, there was the bare bones of what could have been a really good and meaningful
Mm.
story because at its core, it was about an abuse victim trying to fight the urge to return to his abuser.
Yeah.
It could have been deep. It could have decided to be something more, but it was too lazy to do that. It was going to go the low road and it
Well,
was just painful.
well, I actually think the whole concept was flawed in the sense that if you're going to do an R-rated dog comedy, I think having an abusive owner wasn't the right way to go. It should have been got accidentally left, loving family, and then all the dark nihilistic humor that you want to weave throughout that movie would work because the audience would go, well, at least at the end he's going to be reunited by people he loves. But you don't have that. So you're not rooting for the main character to achieve his goal. Now, I don't know, but in Writing 101, don't you want the audience to be going and rooting with the protagonist? Like going along with their journey, and you just don't in that film.
Well, they do introduce like an alternative owner, but they do it almost at the end of the movie
It's a
as an afterthought, and it's done in the
yes.
most predictable,
Mm.
amateurish way. Just that, I think that's the word I'm looking for. Is this movie was amateurish?
It just
It's
feels
like
like it was
something
a
that
first draft.
yeah, it's something that college kids would have put together. And I'm not talking about the smart college kids. I'm talking about the ones who aren't going to make it through their sophomore year.
Yeah, they're the ones that've been chugging beer every night.
Yeah,
So
wouldn't it
yeah,
be funny if dogs humped things?
yeah. So
That's the ones who wrote this.
in the world of opposites, Jace, if you'd said to me in January, there are 2 films coming out this year. These 2 films that are coming out this year, what do you think you'll love, and which one do you think you'll hate? Or not gel with. And Strays would have been a film I would have said, yeah, I absolutely reckon that'll be amazing. The one I would have thought, that is not for me, is this film here,
Oh
Barbie.
my god.
Now, I've avoided Barbie for a little bit because I'm like, oh, you know what, I have to wait for it to come
strange
out in
because you
digital
people
release.
love shrimps on it.
Yeah, we do like putting shrimps on our Barbies. Nobody eats shrimps in Australia. They're called prawns.
Ew.
Like,
That
there you
doesn't
go,
even sound
tidbit.
good.
This film, by the surface of it, was not written for a 50-year-old man. I wouldn't have thought. Okay, this is not for me. This is for the ladies. I like what I'm seeing in the trailer. Looks at. Did I expect to go in to see an existential movie? No, I did not. Did I expect to see the nuanced performances out of what looked like a pretty kind of one-note joke concept? I didn't expect that either. And then just dealing with people's struggles in so many smart and different ways. And it's down to Greta Gerwig, right? She's an incredible filmmaker. I mean, dude, like, Ken's journey from a male's perspective and seeing that and being able to identify and known people that behave in those kind of ways and that simplistic, and then to recognize that Barbie has to look at herself and what she represents, certainly to some different people. There's so much to enjoy about this, you know? And it's all dressed up in this pink plastic world that's just, I don't know. Sometimes magic happens in Hollywood, and this is one of those occasions, I think, Jace.
I definitely think if Barbie proves anything, it's that with enough talent and enough time and in the proper hands, any concept can be amazing.
Well, Greta's
I'm
got a lot to say. It got a lot to
yeah,
do with that.
yeah. But it's not just Greta, even though she was a huge, huge part of
Mm,
this movie. Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling and all of the supporting characters in this movie were
similar.
fantastic.
I
There's
want an Alan.
yeah, I do
See,
too.
Alan Kick
Every
Ass was the best.
I love how Alan is a guy who does not have toxic masculinity, and I love that.
he's the he's friend zoned to the
Yeah, he's
hilt.
friend
Poor
zone and
Alan.
he's fine with it. It's okay.
It's
I
okay.
was not expecting to be as emotionally involved in this movie as I was. And there is a scene in this movie which I honestly think is probably one of the best scenes I've seen in a movie
Mm,
in forever. And that is Barbie, who is thinking about death and growing old and getting
yeah.
crow's feet and having flat feet on her feet, and she's worried about all of these things. She's worried about aging and dying, and then
Mm,
she goes to the real world and she's sitting on a bus bench and she looks next to her, and there is the sum of all of her fears, an old woman at the end of her life in her twilight years, and Barbie looks at it and tells her
oh,
she's beautiful.
I know.
That is, I mean, my eyes are like burning right now.
Yeah,
But Barbie
it's
tells her, "You are so beautiful." She sees her fears and
yeah,
she embraces them and
it's incredible.
recognizes that aging and life is beautiful. And at that
Mm,
moment, whenever she told that woman that she was beautiful, I was like, "She's gonna stay. She's gonna stay in
yeah.
the real world. She's found her purpose." And I
Yeah, and
I just
it's
love that. It was such an amazing scene. In a train of amazing scenes. That was probably my favorite.
it's the best film of the year for me so far that I've
Yes,
seen.
so
In a
far,
year that
yes.
has some good films this year. We've had some pretty decent
Oh
films.
yeah,
Uh
Oppenheimer was amazing. Guardians
yeah,
3 was amazing. I'm sure
yeah.
there's Spider-Verse 2 was
Look, I'm
amazing.
sorry, Flash. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed the
I
Flash.
I enjoyed The Flash too. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
haters. It was a good movie.
I like it.
It
I've,
was a
I've
good
watched it a
movie.
few times now.
I know it's
But yeah, I
problematic,
mean,
but it's a good movie. But yeah, Barbie so far
yeah,
is my favorite movie of the year. And if I had if the me from a year ago had heard myself say that, I'd have thought I was crazy. But yeah, it's the
yeah.
best movie I've seen all year.
I get very impatient watching films, especially when it comes to igniting the plot, like getting that plot going. Getting the introductions done and getting it forward. Within 10 minutes, she's in that dance floor saying, "You guys ever think about dying?" Boom,
Constantly.
we're into it.
Constantly, Barbie. Constantly.
Yeah, and we're into it. I like
I'm
it's
thinking
absolutely
about it
wonderful.
right now.
You know, the other thing too is, and I'd forgotten is
Hmm.
how many diverse Barbies they had.
It was
And I'd forgotten because
wonderful.
I don't buy Barbies. My daughter hadn't bought Barbies 15. But you remember, yeah, if you go to the store, there's a Barbie from every nationality, every size, every shape. Mattel have done a wonderful job. But they're the real heroes here, aren't they, Mattel?
Yes,
Because
they are.
they allowed this property to be dealt with. Because Mattel don't come up. They're not the bad guys. They're the bad guys in this film. They're
I would
the,
say they're the antagonists. I wouldn't say they're
the
the bad
antagonists, not the
guys.
bad guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, the antagonists. But again, kudos to them. And please make us our He-Man and Master of the
Please
Universe
do.
film.
Please
Please.
do.
Please. All
And we
right,
want
that
we
was
want
it.
Alan in it. We need it to be
Yes.
He-Man and the Masters of the Universe and Alan.
No, it'd be Al Man.
Alman.
Yeah, Al Man.
We need to
But
give
anyway,
Alan his power.
so that's our little movie reviews, and we're going to do that, guys. Every week we're going to do a couple of little mini reviews of some of the films we've already seen and what the new ones we're seeing so far. So that's really exciting. But to the end of the show, Josh, we have one more new segment.
Yes.
And
Because
this
we're
is
constantly
something
in a
we're
state of
pulling out of the world of entertainment, and we want to highlight to people that maybe haven't seen this.
Absolutely.
And we're
Because
calling this segment,
no, say it. Yes, go ahead. Say it. Say it. Say it.
it's called It Chat.
Okay, that's my first time hearing that with the music, and now I'm wondering why the pizza man's here because I didn't order anything with extra sausage.
Does Does it sound like that? I thought it was very
Yes, it
jazzy.
does. It really
Very
does.
jazzy. All right, okay.
Won't
I have
change
to
it though.
change the
We're
song.
keeping it. It's too late. The audience loves it.
Yeah. All right, now this is something you and me talked about before you went away to Japan.
Yes.
No, I think it was just before you went away to Japan.
Yes.
A few months ago, and this
I'm
dropped on-
sorry. I picked this up because my cat was playing with it, and I thought the batteries were like long dead,
It's
but
still
it's
going.
not. It's still going.
All right, this
You
was
are
something that
ruining
kind
my
of
show.
hit me by surprise. I didn't know it was coming out. I had no idea about it. It dropped on Netflix, and it was a movie called Nimona.
Oh my gosh.
Now, I can't remember how. I think it was you that said it was actually. It was you that watched it and went, "Holy moly!" You know, you got to
Yes.
check out Nimona. Now, Jace, give us your opinion. Why is Nimona so great? Because it's great.
Nimona. Oh my gosh. So, first of all, I watched this on the plane to Japan, and then I watched it on the plane returning from Japan
Mm.
because this is a movie that deserves more than one look. Nimona is this amazing story about a alternate future where knights still exist and there's kingdoms, and basically a knight is accused of a murder and he's seen as an enemy to the state, and this attracts the attention of this little demon girl named Nimona, who decides that they should be partners and spread evil throughout the land. And as they two become friends, as the knight is trying to prove his innocence, you get the backstory about the trauma that this poor girl has gone through. And I have heard all kinds of interpretations about this story, all kinds. Some people say it's an allegory for transitioning. Some people have said it's an allegory for the LGBTQIA community. Other people have said it's an allegory for illegal immigration. Some have said there's a million different interpretations, and each interpretation is valid. I can tell you from my own experience, this is an amazing, wonderful, beautiful movie with fantastic animation. I saw the animation at first. I thought, oh, it's CGI. It's going to be cheap. It looks amazing. It does,
Yeah,
and it fits the
gorgeous.
story so well. I loved this movie. I loved every
Yeah.
glorious frame of it. The animation is so bright and happy. Nimona, just the way she smiles at times and kind of gives you the Norman Bates stare as she smiles is hysterical.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the representation in this movie. I enjoyed the voice acting, the story. It does have a couple of flaws, but to me, the flaws are so minor that they almost
Yeah.
don't even matter.
No,
If
they don't. You know,
yeah,
it's
if you haven't,
interesting.
especially if you loved She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, this is a movie you need to watch.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. And you know, you were talking about how it's an allegory. You know, all I was hearing when you were saying that? This is even more evidence it's a great movie because people are taking what they want out of it.
Yes.
And that's usually a good sign, Jason, of a very well executed piece of entertainment where
Yeah.
you can grasp it. For me, as a cis white guy, you know, with the wife, kids, and that, I looked at it and I was just, I didn't see, to me, it wasn't about some of the LBGT issues, all that. I just saw a trauma of a husband having to make a tough choice about his husband, having to someone he loves, having to, in a way, in the beginning on it, turn on him and make a choice. And just the emotion of that had me locked in. And then Nimona just being so well crafted as a character, you know, so funny and exciting and that to watch, but, you know, the trauma, you know, and it's just, yeah, there are tiny flaws you could point out, little plot points here and there. But it's really the relationships why this movie works so well. Chloe Grace Moretz is the voice of Nimona. She does a great job. Riz Ahmed is amazing as well. I can't remember who the other main actor was, but DreamWorks done a great job with this. They really have. And I wonder, Jace, does it have any connection to She-Ra in the sense of, did they use people that work? Because it is a DreamWorks production.
I don't
wonder
know.
if some people had crossed over.
Yeah, it just seems so like She-Ra. You know, the animation, the character models, and everything.
They deal with the character so well. There's no cheapening of the issues or of the character. they deal with things head on and they don't shy away from it, which I thought was excellent. But overall, yeah, I'm really thankful that it's got a lot of really good representation and all that. But I can tell you from somebody, from my perspective, I think there's something in it for everybody, this movie. And I'm very proud that it does have representation because I do think that's important. But, however, it doesn't, I suppose the point I'm trying to make is, it doesn't put that look, we're all about, it's not pivotal to the movie. It's the way it should be. It's just, these two characters are guys. Like, we've got a story to tell. Big deal. Like, and that's what I love about it. Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you. I mean, like, the fact you try to cut off your partner's arm and then try to deal with that,
Oh, there was no try. He did it.
Yeah, it's very complex, but yeah, wonderful. And that was our hidden gem for the week, Jason. If you're not watching Nimona, you're wrong. I mean, clearly, right?
Get right.
All right, guys. Now, thank you again for watching the show. That has been the second episode. If you don't agree, you're wrong. Of course, again, if you could like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell and all that. We're back next week with episode 3 with a whole lot of other episodes to watch. And I'll have one being Daryl Dixon.
I'll be ready with Ahsoka, I promise.
Oh yeah, and I will, guys.
I'm going to watch it as soon as we're done here
to hear Jason's review of Ahsoka, because I'll hear
any of you spoil it, I swear I will end you.
Not him. If it's not him, it's his cats. So don't F around. So, all right, guys. Thank you again for watching. This has been VHS Jace. That has been Jason Roy Gaston. This has been, if you don't agree, Jason,
you're wrong.